You want to know a secret about losing weight? It's not easy. Yeah, in fact, it can be quite challenging at times, especially when it comes to healthy, sustainable weight loss. On the surface, it might sound easy. Just eat fewer calories, exercise more, and the weight will magically come off your body. But while that is technically true, there are so many more variables to consider than just food and exercise. Some of these variables can be pretty easy to address, and I've discussed them before, such as better grocery shopping habits and getting better quality sleep. However, there are a couple of variables that are somewhat hidden, embedded deep in your life. And because of this, they can be somewhat harder to address, but they can have a profound effect on the state of your health. So let me explain. You're very likely familiar with how stress can negatively affect your health. You might have a demanding and otherwise stressful job and life. Even just getting to and from work can be stressful if you live in a big city especially. And family life can be very stressful, especially if you have younger children. I know when my children were young, I found life to be incredibly challenging at times. I very often felt completely overwhelmed and super stressed out. But the unfortunate truth is this: it's highly unlikely that you're going to eliminate all stress from your life. But you can be in control of how you respond to that stress by practicing emotional regulation. And this can be one of the most powerful skills you can use to lose weight and improve your health for good. Okay, so you might be thinking, how can emotional regulation possibly help me with weight loss? It took me a while to figure this one out myself, but when I started focusing on helping my clients improve their emotional regulation, they were able to start seeing results much faster. And not just with their health and fitness, but other areas of their lives were positively affected as well. You see, emotional regulation plays a central component to how, why, and what, and how much we eat, and also how we view and manage both internal and external stressors. As you can imagine, the ability to regulate emotions will have a direct impact on your food intake, your outlets, and hence your quality of life and well-being. And truthfully, emotional eating or hedonic eating is very prevalent in our modern world. Life stressors can drive us to overeat in response to stress, loneliness, sadness, boredom, or other negative emotions. And learning and unlearning skills related to emotional regulation takes time and a concerted effort. You may be coming from a place where you've been conditioned a certain way, and that conditioning can be a challenging one to break. But I promise you this: if you practice even just a couple of these strategies, you will see improvements in how you cope with challenges in life. And I'm going to give you some simple strategies to help you do that. The first strategy is a big one: mindfulness practices. This can be a huge topic that I plan on covering in more detail in a separate video. I'm going to give you enough of an introduction here to get you moving in the right direction. You see, mindfulness plays a significant role in emotional regulation by helping you focus on the present moment without judgment. And that last part's very important. You've probably had many moments in your life where you feel like things are spinning out of control. A million things are on your mind, and it's easy to spiral into self-doubt and self-criticism. A simple mindfulness practice then can be a very helpful tool in a few different ways. It helps you identify and label your emotions more accurately. It helps create space between feelings and emotions and reacting to it. And it helps us appreciate simple pleasures, which can be calming during stressful times. So here are a couple of simple, easy to implement techniques that you can deploy when those uneasy and stressful moments creep up. The first one I'm going to tell you about is one of the most effective mindfulness techniques my clients see success with, and it's called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. This can be very helpful in calming to your body and reinforcing your attention in situations where you get all worked up and want to let off a bit of steam by eating an entire box of cookies. So if you're fuming over the comments your boss made about some of your work, or the kids are just driving you crazy, whatever situation that's riling you up, here's what you do. Okay, number 5 things that you see. Identify 5 things that you can see around you. Look for specific details like color, texture, or shape. 4, touch. Acknowledge 4 things that you can touch. This can include texture of your clothing, the ground beneath your feet, a nearby object. Hear. So listen for 3 sounds of your surroundings. So focus on external noises like a clock ticking or people talking or birds chirping. Number 2, smell. Identify 2 things that you can smell. This might be a little bit more challenging. You may have to move around a little bit to pick something up. And number 1 is taste. Acknowledge 1 thing that you can taste. It might be the lingering flavor of a drink, a toothpaste, or a recent meal. So this strategy can be very effective for calming your nervous system by counteracting your body's flight or fight response. And it will also help you stay present and focused in moments of high stress by engaging your senses to shift your focus away from the distressing thoughts and instead steer you towards a state of calm. My clients who have tried this have been amazed at how effective it is in keeping them from reaching for an indulgent food or just snapping at people. I do have one more powerful technique for you though. But before we get into that, if you found what I've shared with you today valuable, then make sure you check out the free resources I have below, including my weight loss masterclass, where we take a deep dive into the details of what you need to lose weight and improve your health for good. Okay, so the second technique I'll share with you is called cognitive reappraisal. It's a bit of a fancy term, but basically this involves changing how you think about a situation, which will in turn change how you feel about that situation. You see, in order to have a successful mindset, you need to recognize negative thought patterns and transform them into more effective ones. This will allow you to adjust your emotional responses to challenging events and situations. You've heard me say it before, I'm going to say it again. We can be real jerks to ourselves and fall into self-defeatist thinking patterns. Practicing cognitive reappraisal will help you talk back to those voices. I'm going to give you a few examples on how this might work in your life. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not good at this," you can state, "I'm trying and I can learn how to do this more effectively." Instead of saying, "I have no self-control," reframe it as, "I'm learning to develop better eating habits and this is part of the process." You can replace, "Oh, I've ruined my diet," with, well, one instance of overeating doesn't negate my overall progress towards healthier eating habits. Shifting from, "I'm a failure for overeating," to, "This is an opportunity to understand my triggers and develop better coping strategies." The main point here is to challenge and talk back to those unhelpful voices and adopt an internal dialogue that is more helpful for you. Above all else though, keep practicing self-love and self-acceptance. Just like anything, you will become better at this through practice. And it's also important that you pay attention. See, your feelings body is much stronger than your thinking brain. And this often requires us to just slow down a little bit. When you're stuck in a stressful moment or feeling urges to overconsume, just think, pause, breathe, and reflect. You will be amazed at how powerful hitting the pause button and allowing for a moment to breathe can be. I've heard so many clients that have told me, "Yeah, I really felt like a donut or 3, and then I just took a moment. And because of that, I made a much better eating decision." If you've given these techniques an honest try, and you still find that you're struggling with a particularly problematic body image or depressive symptoms or very intense emotional responses to food, please seek a registered counselor who specializes in disordered eating or an appropriate healthcare provider. The techniques we've covered can be highly effective, but it's important to recognize when you might benefit from counseling from a therapist trained in these specific areas. Because truthfully, your happiness and mental well-being is everything. And I want to see you succeed there as well, not just with the weight loss and fitness. But if you want a deeper dive into how you can create the mindset you need to transform your life, please check out my free coaching resources linked below in the description. And if you haven't watched my video on the other 2 skills you need to master in order to transform your health, I'll link it to the screen and the description below. And if you found some good value in this video, or I've left something out, I'd love to hear about it. So leave a comment below. We'll see you next time.